Picture this, July 31st, 1972. A man dressed in the robes of a Christian minister boards Delta Flight 841 from Detroit to Miami. In his hands, a leather-bound Bible, but inside that holy book, a loaded handgun. His name was George Edward Wright, and he was about to pull off one of the most audacious hijackings in American history, then vanish for 41 years. This is the story of a convicted murderer who escaped prison, humiliated the FBI, and became the outlaw who refused to be caught. George Wright's journey into infamy began not with revolution or politics, but with a brutal crime on the day after Thanksgiving, 1962. Wright was just 19 years old when he and 3 accomplices went on a robbery spree through New Jersey. Their final target? An Esso gas station in Wall Township. Behind the counter stood Walter Patterson, a 32-year-old decorated World War II veteran who had earned a Bronze Star serving his country. He was a husband, a father of 2 young daughters. That night, Patterson was beaten and shot dead. For what? $70 in cash. Wright and his crew were quickly arrested. In 1963, he was convicted and sentenced to 15 to 30 years in Leesburg State Prison in New Jersey. Most criminals would serve their time, learn their lesson, maybe even find redemption. George Wright had other plans. For 7 years, Wright sat behind bars. But on the night of August 19, 1970, everything changed. Between 10 and 11 p.m., during the window between bed checks, Wright and 3 other inmates simply walked out of the prison farm. But Wright didn't escape alone. His companion was George Brown, a fellow inmate serving time for armed robbery. And in a move that would become legendary among law enforcement, they allegedly stole the warden's own car to make their getaway. Think about that. The prison warden's car. The 2 fugitives made their way to Detroit, where they fell in with the Black Liberation Army, a revolutionary militant organization. Wright, the escaped murderer, found a new identity, a new purpose. Federal complaints were filed. The FBI began hunting, but Wright had become a ghost, living under aliases, working odd jobs, even modeling to pay his bills. For 2 years, he remained invisible, until he decided to do something so bold, so brazen, that it would guarantee his place in criminal history forever. July 31st, 1972. Delta Flight 841 departed Detroit, bound for Miami. Among the passengers, families, business people. 86 souls with no idea what was about to happen. Also on board, 5 members of the Black Liberation Army, including George Wright. Wright had disguised himself perfectly. Black clerical suit, reverend's collar. He used the alias Reverend Larry Darnell Burgess, and in his hands that hollowed-out Bible with a handgun hidden inside. As the plane approached Miami, Wright and his team made their move. Flight attendants taken hostage, guns drawn, chaos erupting at 30,000 feet. One passenger remembered the terror vividly, saying that when the captain made the announcement, people started screaming. Wright pressed his gun against Captain William Harold May's neck and issued his demands. The pilot, a 20-year Delta veteran, had no choice but to comply. When the plane landed in Miami, the hijackers made their demands clear. $1 million in cash delivered to the plane. But there was a twist that would make this hijacking infamous. The hijackers insisted that the FBI agent delivering the money be completely naked. They wanted absolute assurance that no weapons were being smuggled aboard. After negotiations, a compromise was made. The FBI agent would wear a bathing suit. Can you imagine the most powerful law enforcement agency in the world forced to send an agent onto a runway in swimming trunks, carrying a suitcase full of cash? It was humiliating, it was calculated, and it worked. The FBI complied. $1 million was delivered, and true to their word, Wright and his crew released all 86 passengers unharmed in Miami. But they kept the 7-member flight crew as hostages. Wright ordered Captain May to fly to Boston. There, they refueled and forced an international navigator aboard, also stripped down to verify he carried no weapons. Then came the final leg of their journey, across the dark Atlantic Ocean to Algiers, Algeria. Captain May would later describe the flight as surreal. 2 of the hijackers smoked marijuana continuously. They talked about revolution, about how America was a decadent society they no longer wanted to live in. One hijacker had parting words for the pilot when they arrived, saying they were famous and to send them a copy of the paper. At the time, Algeria was governed by a sympathetic socialist regime that had become a haven for exiled Black Panthers and revolutionary militants. The hijackers were welcomed by Eldridge Cleaver himself, the prominent Black Panther leader who had fled America. The Algerian government seized the $1 million and the plane, returning them both to the United States. But the hijackers, they were granted political asylum. They walked free. George Wright had pulled off what seemed impossible. He had hijacked a commercial airliner, extorted $1 million, humiliated the FBI, and escaped to a foreign country that protected him from American justice. On August 2, 1972, federal air piracy charges were filed against all 5 hijackers, but in Algiers, they were untouchable. Wright and his crew lived with Eldridge Cleaver in Algiers for a time. They held press conferences. They proclaimed themselves revolutionaries fighting against American imperialism. But revolutionary life in North Africa wasn't what they'd imagined. Disillusioned with Cleaver's leadership and the realities of exile, the group eventually made their way to Paris. For 4 years, they lived in the shadows of Europe. Then, in May 1976, French authorities arrested 4 of the hijackers when they discovered false passports. They were tried in a French court in November 1978. All 4 were convicted and sentenced to 5 years, though the women's sentences were reduced to 3 years. In the United States, they would have faced a minimum of 20 years. By 1981, all 4 were released. Some reportedly turned their lives around, working at orphanages and coaching youth baseball. But there was one hijacker missing from that French arrest: George Edward Wright. Somehow, he had slipped through the dragnet, vanished completely.
Back in America, the Patterson family watched in disbelief. Ann Patterson, the daughter of the murdered gas station attendant, thought justice would finally be served when the hijackers were identified. But the years turned into decades. The 1970s became the 1980s, the 1990s, the 2000s. No one knew where George Wright was. No one could find him. The FBI's most wanted list carried his name. His fingerprints were in databases worldwide, yet he remained invisible. Where was he hiding? How had he survived? Had he built a new life? Changed his identity? Found safety in some remote corner of the world? For 41 years, these questions had no answers. September 26, 2011, the FBI made a stunning announcement. George Edward Wright had been captured. After 41 years as a fugitive, one of America's most wanted criminals was finally in custody. The location? A quiet beach town outside Lisbon, Portugal. Portugal. Not Algeria, not some war-torn nation beyond the reach of law, but a NATO ally with strong ties to the United States. How did they find him? Through the most mundane of circumstances, a fingerprint match in Portugal's national database. As investigators pieced together Wright's 4 decades on the run, an incredible story emerged. After escaping the French dragnet in 1976, Wright had made his way to Guinea-Bissau, a tiny West African nation. There, through connections and likely corruption, he obtained citizenship papers under a completely fabricated identity, José Luis Jorge dos Santos, complete with fake parents' names, a manufactured life story, a new beginning. In 1991, Wright married a Portuguese woman, which allowed him to obtain Portuguese citizenship. He settled into a quiet life near Lisbon, living openly under his assumed name. For 20 years, he had been a European citizen, a family man, just another expatriate living peacefully in Portugal. Think about that. While the Patterson family mourned, while the FBI searched, while Captain May and his crew tried to forget that terrifying flight across the Atlantic, George Wright was building sandcastles on Portuguese beaches. When news broke of Wright's arrest, the Patterson family finally felt hope. Philip Patterson, the son of the murdered war veteran, told reporters he would feel 100% better as soon as Wright was back in New Jersey and back behind bars. He didn't care how old Wright was. He'd had 40 years of life on the run. The U.S. Department of Justice immediately filed for extradition. Wright was 68 years old, but he still owed 22 years on his original murder sentence, plus additional time for prison escape and air piracy. It seemed like an open and shut case. Portugal was a close American ally with a long-standing extradition treaty. But Wright's Portuguese attorney had a different argument. He claimed that under Portuguese law, the statute of limitations for murder was 30 years. Since Wright's crime occurred in 1962 and it was now 2011, too much time had passed. Furthermore, Wright was now a Portuguese citizen. He had been for nearly 20 years. Should Portugal extradite its own citizen for crimes committed a half-century ago in another country? On November 17, 2011, a Portuguese court made its decision. Extradition denied. The judges ruled that Wright could no longer pose a threat to anyone. He had been a model Portuguese citizen, and the statute of limitations had indeed expired under Portuguese law. The United States government was extremely disappointed. They filed appeals. They consulted with Portuguese authorities. They pushed for his return. But the Portuguese courts stood firm. Every appeal was denied. George Edward Wright, convicted murderer, prison escapee, airline hijacker, and fugitive, would remain free. There was only one condition: he could never leave Portugal.
As long as he stayed within Portuguese borders, he was untouchable. So what do we make of George Edward Wright? He was a 19-year-old killer who shot a war hero for $70. He escaped prison and joined a revolutionary movement. He hijacked a commercial airplane in an era when such acts were frighteningly common. He evaded capture for 4 decades, living peacefully while his victims' families suffered. His hijacking helped change aviation forever. After a string of similar incidents in 1972, the Federal Aviation Administration issued emergency rules mandating security screening of all passengers and inspection of all carry-on baggage. Today, when we remove our shoes at airport security and have our bags scanned, we're living with the legacy of hijackers like George Wright. The Patterson family never got their closure, never saw the man who killed their father serve his full sentence. As for George Edward Wright himself, if he's still alive today, he would be in his early 80s, living somewhere in Portugal, protected by Portuguese law, beyond the reach of American justice. Sometimes, in the real world, the outlaws do get away. Sometimes, justice is just geography. This was the story of George Edward Wright, the outlaw who refused to be caught.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable. Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up